Previously on Libel the Bible.
We talked about my big fat Russian birthday party.
I'm not amused by Cocaine Bear.
We analyzed Redditors' critiques of podcasts.
And we came away with valuable insights to improve our show.
Nah, Redditors are a bunch of know-nothing neckbeards, and I'm perfect as is.
Yeah. Speaking of necks, Moses lays out the rules for stonings.
We learn about Levitical, mafia-style sit-downs to settle disputes.
We look up words, like auger, and learn we don't really know words the way we thought we did.
Despite Reddit's advice, I continue to exude drama kid energy and do voices.
And now, episode 51 of Libel the Bible.
All right, we're on the air, man. It's happening right now.
Oh, like, hold on. All right, hold on. Don't stop anything. If it's rolling, let it keep rolling.
It's rolling.
I'm Scott.
I'm Rusty.
And this is the glitch-free Libel the Bible.
So when we started recording, the recording level scale went right back up to 100%, even after I had moved it down. So we are recording right now at like a really high level.
Is this going to be a problem on playback?
I don't know.
And if it is a problem, is it a fixable problem, or is it going to be like all clipped out and all crazy sounding?
I don't give a fuck. Let's just do the show. I'm done with the fucking software, and I'm done with the equipment.
All right. So what are we going to do about that then?
What are we going to do?
We're done with the equipment. Like, we need to do, like, re-roll the dice or something, man. We got to figure something out here, man.
Right, but we're not going to do it right now. So let's talk about anything other than technical problems.
Let's see. Something that doesn't give you stress. Let's not talk about traffic, right?
You were just looking. You were just looking through the books of the Bible, and you found the funny one. What was it called?
Bell and the Dragon.
Bell and the Dragon, and that's a book of the Bible.
I believe it was. I believe it is on the site.
That does not sound right to me.
It don't sound right at all. So I'm going to let me just hit the Bible book list real quick.
All right. So in any event, we're here to record episode 51. We're going to be doing Leviticus 20 through 22 today. I feel like every week there's been like earth-shattering scientific discoveries, by the way.
Holy fuck!
So last week it was the whole like quantum entanglement, sending like something through a wormhole.
Yeah.
Right? And this week it was fusion.
Fucking fusion. They've been working on this since the 1930s.
Yeah. Do you understand fusion at all?
It's the opposite of fission. Instead of breaking apart an atom, you're fusing molecules, right? No, atoms, right? You're fusing
particles. Let's just say particles.
I think it's specifically it's atoms. I think they're specifically trying helium, I believe. I'm not sure if that's the case. But yeah, it's fusing them together instead of splitting them apart.
Well, I think it's going to be splitting apart molecules. So you would take like H2O, for example, and you would split.
No,
No,
it's fusion.
Right. So you would fuse
and the whole
atoms.
And the whole holy grail of it all is somehow it's going to produce more energy. It's going to release more energy than you put in, which sounds impossible. It seems like it violates some sort of law of physics. But
well, it doesn't, because that's what stars do, right? Stars operate on the laws of fusion.
Yeah, but does that mean that there's more energy is coming out than put in? I don't know. I don't know. There's got to be something missing there. But
it's the mass. It's something about the mass of the star. The stars are so massive that everything starts falling towards the center and fusing in the center.
It's a lot of pressure.
And that's what produces like the tremendous heat of like stars, right? And then eventually when a star runs out of its material...
No, the heat is a byproduct of the fusion.
The heat is the byproduct of the fusion.
I believe you.
Right. What did I say? I didn't say that?
What you said. That didn't sound like... Well, maybe you did. I don't know.
So... The premise is the discovery of fusion. Once we scale it up and we build like factories, sort of like how we have nuclear power plants, but we'll have like fusion plants. It's like completely clean. It's completely cheap. It doesn't cost anything. It's like sustainable forever. And it will basically transform like the entire planet
Well, is
Earth.
it cheap? Right now to create it, they have like 1,000 lasers pointed at a single spot to like superheat.
right.
Like, it's not. I don't know if it's cheap.
So I specifically use the word when they scale it up. So right now it's very not cheap.
Right.
I think they say it'll take like $100 billion or something like that.
Seems worth it for clean energy.
I mean, listen,
Put all these oil assholes out of fucking business. That'd be great.
it's everything. Everything seems worth it. Like if we had invested $500 billion into like cancer research, if we had invested, like we have all this money that we waste on nonsense.
Like studying.
We waste money on training dolphins to like assassinate Fidel Castro. You know what I'm saying? Do you know about that?
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I've heard about it.
I mean, like,
There's specifically Fidel Castro?
Yeah. There's like a beluga whale. You know about this beluga whale like in the Arctic Ocean right now?
Who's still looking for Fidel Castro because we fucked its brain up with like some MK Ultra shit?
Well, no, we're not still looking. The dolphin thing was like, decades ago.
Oh, I thought they released that dolphin. He's up in the Arctic now, like still looking for Fidel Castro because we don't know what to do with this super soldier
No,
dolphin.
I said there's a beluga whale.
Yeah.
And
Same thing.
that thing apparently was trained by Russia to like spy on like whatever, and like it's escaped or they let it go. I don't know. And it's constantly like swimming up the boats. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's just, it's crazy like what people spend money on, in the government, but like not for like medicine, not to like help their citizens. So fusion, I don't know. I don't know who's gonna. Elon Musk will probably buy the patent and like, right, like block it, use it to block out the sun.
And now you get all energy through Twitter.
There was like Bill Gates was talking about doing that. He was like talking about blocking out the sun for whatever reason. I don't know.
Well, for several reasons actually. Block out the sun to cause a little shade to bring the temperature of the Earth down, and also harness the. Make it
perfect.
Basically, a solar panel that not only blocks the sun,
Right.
we also get electricity from it.
I'm glad that Bill Gates unilaterally came up with that idea and unilaterally has the money to like do it.
Well, that's why it's good that like certain individuals get so much money that they can do things that
whatever they
completely
want.
affect the planet.
Whatever they want.
Yeah. And listen, people that usually reach that level in society are usually smart and good people,
But
and they're going to do the best for the rest of society.
I would agree with that. There's just one problem.
Mm-hmm.
There's no precedent for it. Like, there's never been a time in history where we've had this many people who are this rich compared to, like, the rest of the population. Like, the disparity between the richest and even, like, the average person is crazy.
I see where you're going.
I remember when millionaire was like, yo, you're a millionaire? Yeah. Now, like, everyone's a millionaire.
Everyone's a millionaire. I see where you're going with this. You're going to try and now explain to us how trickle-down economics never worked, and nobody wants to hear it, man.
Well, we do have a friend, apparently, who wants to come on the podcast and school us on, the historical context of the Bible, but does not want to get involved in political discourse with us.
Which is, you're not going to be able to do that.
So this person, are you saying this person would argue in favor of Reaganomics?
Actually, no, I don't know. I don't know about that. No,
Yeah.
I don't know his politics anymore.
No.
Oh.
But I mean, it seems like we make our politics very known on this.
Oh, and he would have to make his politics known as well.
Well, it seems like by him saying he doesn't want to discuss politics, he
Sounds like
probably has opposite politics.
But okay, why would you?
I always find it interesting though when like people are like, I don't want to talk about politics. Like, you know what I mean? In that kind of way. It's like I have talked politics with everybody and I have no problem.
Sure. I think the problem with talking politics with someone of a certain kind of person is chances I already know your politics.
A dumb person?
I wasn't saying dumb.
No, I'm asking.
Oh, no, I'm just going to say this. I know there's certain people that I don't need to speak politics with because if I bring up abortion, I know your feelings on it. Uh-huh. If I talk about reparations, I know your feelings.
You've had those conversations.
Yeah, and I've had the same conversation with multiple people. It's like I already know when a topic comes up without even speaking to them how they're voting on it. I already know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you don't want to get in the same circular discussion, conversation.
I think well, I'm more open than you probably are. You're probably a closed book. We could probably never change your mind on anything, man.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Why so?
Yeah, because, I don't know. I don't know. I was trying to zing you, but then didn't have the zinger in my back pocket.
No.
So speaking of politics, remember we talked about Twitter feeds and to a lesser extent Facebook feeds, and if you're surrounded by garbage people and garbage opinions, it's going to be a cesspool.
Sure.
So something happened last week in the news that there was an immediate response from people on my face. I don't know if people still use Facebook. Not that I'm very active. I'm not really active, but I went through Facebook and I saw if people reacted to this thing in a certain way, I defriended them on Facebook. I didn't block them. I didn't, put them on hold or mute them for a little while. I defriended them. Like, I don't need you on my Facebook feed because your responses to what happened pissed me off. And we're not really friends. A lot of these people I'm not really friendly with in real life anymore.
Are you talking about the Q shooting?
Oh, no. I'm talking about, what's her name getting released from Russia?
Oh, Brittany Griner.
Right. So I saw a lot of fucking outspoken people.
So wait a second. Of all the things that have occurred, you just muted or unfriended people over Brittany Griner.
Right. Not over Brittany Griner so much. Mm-hmm. Like if they said, well, I don't know if that was worth it. If somebody presented an argument that was her trading her for a fucking crazy arms deal or fucking worth it, I would entertain that. But as soon as I saw fucking bitch, un-American, best bitch, best kiss the soil when she gets off the plane, like venom towards this woman, then you were gone. Then maybe you weren't so nasty about her, but then you brought up this fucking Marine that we try and pretend like, oh, Biden's leaving this Marine over there to rot. What's his name? Whalen?
Whatever.
Have you even done the slightest Google search on this fucking guy?
I mean, he's
a piece of shit.
He's sketchy.
He's a piece of shit.
He's sus.
Yeah, he was in the Marines. He was not arrested as a Marine. He was dishonorably discharged.
He's almost like the next Lee Harvey Oswald. You know what I mean?
This guy's like this guy's a real piece of shit.
Or that's his cover, because he's a spy.
Oh, he's a spy. Right, he ain't a fucking spy, man. He got dishonorably discharged from the military. Yeah, he had pictures of him in Iraq or Afghanistan or whatever. He was an admin guy in the military. And he got discharged for fucking stealing American Social Security numbers to, run a racket and run scams.
Yeah.
So, he's fighting for our country as he fucking undermines 90-year-olds stealing their Social Security number. And he was in Russia and did the same fucking shit. And that's what he got caught. Not for a little residue in a pipe. He got caught being an arch fucking criminal.
Yeah.
All right? So, fuck that. We don't leave anybody behind. Do I think he should be stuck there forever?
But
but don't compare.
But he stood for the national anthem.
Oh, but that's all that matters.
She didn't stand for the national anthem.
Right. You know what?
She questioned whether the national anthem should be played.
Oh, at a sporting event?
Yes. Can you imagine that?
Okay, that's
a sporting event.
That's a legitimate conversation.
What next?
By the way.
Are we not supposed to fly like bombers over fucking football stadiums?
Yeah, if you think about it, why do we do these things? But whatever.
Because the military pays the NFL. The military and NFL have a huge contract together.
Listen, I choose. These are conversations that should be had, not just fucking dismissed out of hand. And I'm thinking, let's see, as a what do you call? What do you refer to us as? A middle class, lower middle class, cisgendered white male. I can speak about.
No, you're hardly lower middle class.
What am I?
You're firmly in the middle class.
I have fucking made it.
Come on,
high fiving myself. That's right. So I'm gonna speak authoritatively on the 7'1" black woman lesbian experience in America.
Go ahead.
And no, I'm not.
Oh, you're not going to. Oh, I was getting excited.
Who the fuck am I to speak on this topic?
I would love for you to do that.
Well, so you know what? So maybe America hasn't treated her as well as maybe the rest of us. So maybe she has legitimate fucking arguments as to why she shouldn't stand during a national anthem being forced upon her on a sporting event.
No.
Just saying.
Right. To who?
To everybody that's fucking listening. All 14 years.
It's funny because I imagine certain people listening to this right now probably being really aggravated. Sure. Having ridiculous counter arguments, but they can't get them because they're just listening. It's like I was saying earlier, we're in their head right now. You know what I'm saying? And they can scream all they want, but we can't hear them.
Yeah.
It's funny when you state facts.
I rarely do that.
Right? No, it's funny when you state facts. And there used to be a time where maybe like the majority of people in this country would understand that, like, all right, so this is a fact and not everything is partisan. You know, I'm willing to cross over to your side because you're right about like this particular thing. But now it's like you're talking about facts, but it's only a fact to like someone who already agrees with you. It's not a fact to someone else.
Well, there's alternative facts now. And while I was ranting and scrolling through the books of the Bible, you're right. This was not a Bible book. This is one of the Apocryphas that didn't make it to the Bible.
Yeah.
Bell and the Dragon.
Okay.
Bell and the Dragon didn't pass muster.
They were like, dragons are too ridiculous.
Yeah, that's just crazy talk.
Now, let's talk about the donkey who talks.
Well, people know donkeys. Not everybody knows dragons.
Right.
So, it makes sense.
But so what's more realistic, a talking donkey or a non-talking dragon?
I think a talking donkey.
You think so?
Yeah, because like I said, you've seen donkeys,
Yeah.
and you haven't seen every donkey, so it stands to reason maybe one of them talks.
Have you seen the new First of all, trailers. Let's talk about trailers on YouTube. So I realized something. Do you know that trailers now have announcements at the beginning that you're about to see a trailer? So trailers have trailers in trailers for that trailer.
Stop. What?
I watched a trailer this week for the new Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Okay. So there was this Into the Spider-Verse. It was like, what do you call it? A computer-generated like Spider-Man movie with Miles Morales. You have no idea. No. Okay. They're making a sequel. And there was a trailer for it. Inside the trailer, there's an announcement that this is a trailer coming up. And then the trailer started. It was all one video. It wasn't like it said like later today and then like you had inside the trailer for the new Spider-Man movie at the very beginning is a thing saying you're about to watch the trailer for the Spider-Man movie.
Okay.
And then the trailer started.
See, I don't like that. First of all, like, why do I need to be told it's a trailer? I'm sure right in the title is Spider-Man trailer. What I don't like about that, I like when a trailer... Like, for instance, my father...
You don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
It's a surprise. You're like, oh, shit!
I wanted to show something like Indiana Jones 17 is coming out, right?
Yep.
So I was like, yo, check this out. And every time I cast it to my TV, I hope it doesn't say Indiana Jones trailer. I hope it just starts, and it takes a couple of seconds to dawn on you what it is.
Yeah.
So now you need to be spoon-fed that this is what this is.
So apparently someone said it's because on YouTube, people like fast forward, like they'll see a commercial. So when like something like like a trailer pops up, like they'll let you know, yo, you're about to watch a trailer for this.
So they don't think it's a commercial.
Right.
Or it could be a commercial, but like they're telling you right away what it is.
It's a commercial you want to watch because you're a
Right.
fucking neckbeard nerd on YouTube. And we know like what the algorithm is, and like this is a commercial that you're gonna want to stick around for.
People need to slow the fuck down, man. Just fucking slow down a little, man.
So this is what's happening like in life now. These fucking... Oh, by the way, I watched a thing on YouTube today about the making of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls.
That movie sucked.
And Steven Spielberg was talking about how like Harrison Ford kept bugging George Lucas, who kept bugging him, Steven Spielberg, to make like the fourth movie. And Steven Spielberg was like, there's a reason why at the end of The Last Crusade, I had them riding off into the literal sunset, you know? I did not think like we were going to make another one, and I wasn't really into it. And George Lucas was like, we got to make one, and there's going to be like aliens in it. And he's like, and there's like all these alien movies coming out, and I'm like, it shouldn't be about aliens. And then George Lucas is like, okay, we're going to make them interdimensional. And I haven't seen this movie, by the way. I have not seen the Crystal Skull. All I know is at some point in the movie, there's a nuclear blast, and then Indiana Jones survives because he goes into a refrigerator.
Well, you've seen those 1950s refrigerators? You probably could survive one.
So I was just watching this, and and again, I haven't seen the movie, but from the things that I have heard about it and listening to Steven Spielberg like justify and rationalize why he made it. And now they're going to they're making another one, or they did make one.
It's coming out this coming summer.
I got to tell you, Harrison Ford is like 80 years old at this point. He should
Yeah.
not be like running around in like the Indiana Jones garb anymore.
See, I don't know how they're going to do it. They are scenes where they de-aged him, digitally de-aged him, but
I hate that.
Of course, everybody does. But I'm hoping it's for like a flashback scene. Then like this, like it takes place in the '60s during the space race. Every movie's a new decade. I'm looking forward to it because I feel
So he's only aged 10 years since the Crystal Skull?
I don't know. Remember, the Crystal Skull came out a long time after the Last Crusade. So we thought, this is going to be good. I think they have to go back, and this movie has to be kick-ass to not end the series on such a shit note.
Yeah, they could have done that by not having the fourth
But
movie.
they did. They did the fourth. We can't go back in time and erase it.
It should have been the first
So
three.
they had to come out with the fifth one to fix it.
See, to me, it's not canon. I don't consider. I didn't see it. I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to see this one
I'm only
either.
a fan of the first one. I know you like the whole trilogy. I only really like the first one. It's the only one that gets my stuff going.
Yeah, the third one was really good.
Yeah, I guess.
The second one, I haven't seen it in a long time.
That's the one when he rips the guy's heart out.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like the really racist one
Yeah.
about like India.
Yeah.
I got to see that again with Short Stack.
Short stack. It was short round.
And that's when Steven Spielberg met his wife, his Shiksa wife.
All right.
He dumped his Jew wife, Amy Irving. He was married to Amy Irving.
What's shiksa mean?
Shiksa is a female who's not a Jewish lady.
I thought Kate Capshaw is... Oh, no. That sounds
She
Irish.
converted to Judaism after she
Oh.
married Steven Spielberg.
Oh, okay. So a woman who's not Jewish is a shiksa.
Correct.
Now, is that said in a derogatory way? Like a...
It could be.
That's interesting.
It could be and it could not be. It depends on the context, the tone, who's saying it, the person's relationship.
Well, I just noticed, like, the one people you can't say anything about these days are Jewish people. I noticed that.
Listen.
You can say shit about anybody else.
It's been like that forever. You know what I mean? Jews are the only ones who go unscathed around here.
Yeah. So we got Fusion. We got Brittany. We got a bunch of people advocating for some piece of garbage that actually served some time in the Marines. Thank you for your service as you robbed us while you were in the Marines. Appreciate it. What else we got?
I got to say, by the way.
Because today's topic is really good.
So what I wanted to say about Brittany Griner is this. And I think I may have mentioned this.
I'm sure.
Everyone who is cheering us bringing her back right now, okay, should be writing to every single politician in this country talking about releasing every single person
Agreed.
in this country
Agreed.
who's in prison for marijuana. Okay?
Agree. I was saying agreed.
She was caught in another country, a country that has marijuana laws.
Yeah.
She had marijuana. It wasn't like she was brought up on trumped up charges.
Right.
They enforce their fucking laws in Russia. Sure. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like people are it's not like New York City where there's no bail anymore.
Yeah.
You could just do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
So they arrested her. She was caught fair and square.
Yeah.
What?
Listen.
According to the letter of the law.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So
yes,
that's it.
yes.
So the United States negotiated for her release. Fine. Now go and release every single person in this fucking country. There are people who are serving life sentences for pot.
Yeah. Well, there's nobody serving a life sentence for buying a bag or even selling a bag. If you're doing a life sentence for pot, you must have been a drug kingpin. I'm sure.
Okay, I'm going to bring the facts next week, just so I'm not speaking out of my ass. But I'm almost certain that there are people who have possessed a minuscule amount of marijuana, basically a weekend for me, and they are serving life in prison for it.
I'm just imagining the brick that you use during the weekend. I don't think you're a good example of that.
Yeah. So anyway, again, Brittany Griner, whatever, that story, man, I did not give a fuck about her. I gotta tell you.
I gotta tell you something.
And
about
again,
you.
because it's the hypocrisy of all of these people outraged that she was arrested, who haven't said shit about any of the people in this country who have been arrested.
However, okay, that's fine. But that's not in the news. I think you're giving people a little too much shit for not being more involved. They fucking talk about what's in the news, man. They don't fucking do their research to see like what's being affected here.
People know.
And now, what?
People know.
It's not being talked about on the street corners and the water coolers right now because it's not in the news. If that was in the news every day, there'd be more conversations about it. So maybe the media needs to help us out here.
She is a perfect pawn in the identity war game. She's a black, gay athlete who was caught doing something in Russia at a time where the war became politicized and partisan in this country. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
She's a perfect pawn for this, like, the continuation of the culture wars.
And that's why we're talking about her.
So I don't give a fuck about the culture war. I care about like what's right and what's wrong. And if we're being honest, she got caught doing something illegal in another country.
No one's disagreeing with you, man.
And people who are all about like Brittany Griner and having arguments with right-wingers about whether she should or shouldn't even fucking give a fuck about what right-wingers have to say. The focus should be on getting people out of prison in this country for the same kinds of offenses.
That's fine. But this is still something we can talk about.
You know how we had that conversation where you were in the bar and you had that whole like thing with the guy about Nancy Pelosi's husband.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Like he triggered you, you know? Like
he did.
Right.
And shame on me.
It's a waste of energy.
Yeah.
It's like a waste of energy. It's picking at the back of your mouth and getting like that little like, you know, like bruise or whatever that you just pick at to feel it. It's unnecessary.
Maybe it's all I got left to feel, man.
So what I'm saying is my preference is to focus on like real things. I'm not saying I'm doing anything about them. I'm just focusing on them. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I guess like, you know, even focusing on it is like, yeah, you're a step away from.
Well, you don't think this conversation about this will bring people into maybe talking about like the ridiculous people that are the ridiculous arrests and convictions and imprisonments that are going on right here for marijuana issues?
I don't. I think there are things called news cycles, and I think Brittany Griner's going to have like last week. Now, there's almost nothing now until she said, who's going to get the first interview? Who's going to get the first Brittany Griner?
I don't know enough. Like, I don't watch enough. Okay.
I'm going to say Robin Roberts. You know
okay.
Robin Roberts.
I know who she is. I'm not, you know, I couldn't
Good
say
Morning
what
America.
She's
She's been on Good Morning America for years now. She came over. She was on ESPN. Mm-hmm. So she's got like the sports pedigree. Mm. She's black. Mm. She's gay. Mm. I mean, it's like it's kismet.
Oh, Robin Roberts. I think you meant Cokie Roberts.
No, Cokie Roberts.
She was a somebody too, right?
She was a speechwriter for the Reagan administration.
Why the hell would I remember that name?
Because she was always on like Nightline and shit like that. She was always on like panels on Meet the Press, or not Meet the Press. She was on ABC. Cokie Roberts.
Gotcha.
She was on with like David Brinkley or something on weekends.
Gotcha.
This week.
You think Cokie was a nickname? Like we all thought it was a real name.
She came up in the 80s, you know what I mean? She was like one of the architects of Reaganomics, by the way. Now that you know, we were talking about Reaganomics earlier. She was a speechwriter. Speechwriters have influence on policy.
Yeah, she was coked up.
I mean, I don't really know, but I've seen The West Wing, so I'm assuming.
All right. That brings us to Deuteronomy 20, man.
Yeah.
You know, I've been a little annoyed at Deuteronomy, but this was fun.
Today's was all right because we're starting off with the rules of warfare.
Yeah. Did you take notes this time, or you don't even do that anymore?
Yeah, I got some shit.
Oh, yeah.
I did take notes. So basically, like the rules of warfare is broken down like this. Moses instructs the Israelites and tells them, when you're going to war, you're going to meet with three people. And these are the three people that you're going to meet with and in what order. So he says in Deuteronomy 20, verse 2, before you engage in battle, the priest shall come forward and speak to the troops. And then it's like the priest will say, oh, blah, 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 blah. He says, then the officers shall address the troops. Mm-hmm. And then after the officers, when the officers have finished addressing the troops, then the commanders shall take charge of them. I'm assuming the commanders are like the platoon leaders, like maybe the sergeants.
They're the ones that are like, yo, motherfuckers, let's go, you fucking runts, you maggots, you only steers and queers come from where you're from.
Right.
Let's
so
fucking
the sergeant.
Yeah. They're saying that in like a weird way. I'm not. I'm just repeating what they say.
So, he says, like, when you're going to go into battle, that's how you're going to do it.
Yeah, so we get specific. Like, he's like, before you go into battle, has anyone built a new house and not dedicated it yet? Because you might want to go do that. So I had to look up dedicating a house. Yeah. Like, I didn't know. So I'll just read this. Dedicating a house or apartment to the Lord is a practice many Christians follow. In dedicating a house, residents are making a statement to themselves and to the Lord that this is his, capital H, house, and that they are committed to protecting it from evil influences. Dedicating a house is a tangible reminder that God is present. Therefore, all activities, entertainments, and conversations within the house should honor him. That's weird. And he goes, yeah, you should go dedicate your house now, because in case you die in battle, someone else is going to dedicate it. But you just said, don't fear where you're going, because God got you. But the very next line is, you get your affairs in order.
So you've discovered an inaccuracy, an inconsistency in the Bible.
Yeah, a little bit. Or flat out.
On
like,
back-to-back verses or lines.
It's within the same, yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. Then he goes about the vineyard. If you have a vineyard.
Where are you?
26, verse 6. Has anyone planted a vineyard but not yet enjoyed its fruit? You should probably go back and drink some of that fruit, drink some of that wine, lest you die in battle and somebody else drinks the first wine.
Has anyone planted a vineyard but not yet enjoyed its fruit? He should go back to his house, lest he die in battle, and another be first to enjoy it.
Okay, fine. You got a woman that you're engaged to but didn't marry? You might want to marry her before you go off to battle, because you might die and somebody else is going to marry her.
So...
But God got this. Don't be afraid.
But wait a second. So let's say you get married and then you go and die. What does that mean? Like, she can't...
I'm sure there's some...
What do you care? You're already dead. What do you care?
Maybe because they're thinking you haven't had sex yet.
You know what?
You haven't had sex yet.
We need that person that wanted to provide historical context. Maybe they have, like, historical context... For like helping to explain the mores and like social interactions of the Israelites during this time period.
Then the best line of the address, the officers, is anyone afraid or disheartened? He should go back to his house, or he might cause the heart of his comrades to melt like his own. And my note is, all right, peace out. Don't want to bring you down. Have fun in battle. Like, that's like almost like giving him permission to like get the fuck out of there.
It kind of seems like...
You're bringing me down, telling me to get my affairs in order. This guy next to me is depressed because of you.
It's not like a high threshold for like getting out of the army. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, man, if you're too scared to fight, just get out of here.
I'm disheartened.
Yeah.
All right. See you later.
See you later.
We want people that are really jazzed up about this.
It's like, do you think on June 4th... a couple of days before storming the beaches at Normandy, the generals were like, yo, if you're too scared to do this, just let me know. We're going to ship you right home. You don't got to be here if you don't want to be here. How many men would have stormed the beaches of Normandy?
The only guy left listening would have been the guy with his headphones on, listening to music, not really paying attention. Just me and you, buddy.
Although a lot of people did enlist in that war. Like, that wasn't like, people were drafted, but a lot of fucking dudes like enlisted.
Yeah,
that was
crazy.
Else to
do either. Yeah. It was all about fighting for your country.
I would not have enlisted in the Navy, I'll tell you that. The Navy was like the Pacific War, like against the Japanese.
All right, you didn't want to be in the Marines either. Well, they weren't Marines back then, right?
Yeah, they were.
They were Marines?
Yeah, man. There's like Guadalcanal is one of the most like craziest fucking battles of the fucking Pacific War. The Marines, it was fucking horrific. Guadalcanal.
Oh, there was no Air Force then. It was the Army Air Force, right? It was like the Air Force was part of the Army at the time.
I'm not sure.
I don't think the Air Force was its own entity at the time.
I'm not sure. We have a Space Force.
Yeah, that's funny.
I mean, listen, it's funny, but like, why not? We need a Space
No,
Force.
listen,
It's got to start somewhere, right?
In retrospect, I'm in total agreement that we're looking to the future like that.
Yeah.
But it was just funny, the man who presented it.
Yeah.
With just everything
He's
about
an
it was
idiot.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Imagine being like the general leading the Space Force. You got to be the brunt of a lot of jokes.
Oh, 100%.
The Joint Chiefs have to really like.
Well, the thing is this. They probably could have chosen someone who would not have been the brunt of jokes, but like it's the Trump administration, so like, they fuck everything up.
No, they chose the best person for the
All
job.
right, so let's get to Deuteronomy 20, starting with verse 12. And there's advice when you draw near to a town to fight against it, right? He says you're going to offer the town peace, all right? And you're going to give them a chance to like surrender and blah, blah, blah. And if they do, like, you're going to treat them like very, like nice and all this. But if it does not accept your terms of peace and makes war against you, then you shall besiege it. And when the Lord your God gives into your hand, you shall put all its males to the sword. You may, however, take as your plunder the women, the children, livestock, and everything else in the town, all its spoil. You may enjoy the spoil of your enemies, which the Lord your God has given you. Now, these are towns that are like far away.
Right.
Okay? These are not nearby towns. Yahweh has a special plan for nearby towns, Scott.
This is after you move into the land that's yours, the milk and honey. If you decide to go attack another town somewhere else, this is the rule.
Right.
Give them a chance to. But what's funny is, here's the peace terms. Surrender, and you will now spend the rest of your life in forced labor or fight us.
Right.
Well, I'm sorry, we're going to fight. We got to fight. So, yeah, it's not much of a peace agreement.
Yeah, that's a good point. Right. So, like, it's kind of like when the mafia shows up to your store and they're like, you should, like, pay for, like, insurance. Like, you don't want something happening to you.
Yeah. Knock, knock.
So then Moses goes on and he says, but as for the towns of these peoples that the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, so this is like their land, the land of milk and honey, you must not let anything that breathes remain alive. I want you to listen to this.
I love this.
You must not let anything that breathes remain alive. It's almost like Yahweh has found a loophole to that whole thing about like he's not going to like flood or genocide like humans anymore. He's just going to have the Israelites do it for him.
Yeah.
Like the Hittites must have like really like fucked like Yahweh on a deal on something. Like he needed like a power converter for his ship. And he's like, hey, what are you trying to push on us? And the Hittites are like, hey,
OTD.
So, okay. So, anything that breathes, you must not let anything that breathes remain alive. Indeed, you shall annihilate them. The Hittites and the Amorites, the Canaanites and the Perizzites, the Hivites and the Jebusites, just as the Lord your God has commanded, so that they may not teach you to do all the abhorrent things that they do for their gods, and you thus sin against the Lord your God. Before you get into it, Scott, okay? Because I know you've got a lot to say about this, and I'm going to let you have your say. I want you to think back to a time when people of the world all got together and all spoke one language and all built this amazing tower. Like they really they were one people, He scattered them. Yahweh wound up scattering them all over the place. Right? He took away all their language, all their ability to communicate. How dare he then view these people as like savage? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He made them savage. Yeah. He scattered them from their base.
Yeah.
He created the diaspora.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Scott. Go ahead.
Well, I'll say this. I love how basically he says you need to kill everyone and everything so you don't learn how to do bad things. Wait a minute. Murder is like the worst thing possible. So you need to murder everybody so you don't learn how to do bad things.
Well, murder's like not bad. Especially when you're like, you're exterminating like these animals.
So you think when like people came across like the Hittites after they were wiped out by Yahweh, and somebody was like, I never seen sand people hit something this large. And he was like, they didn't, but we were made to think they did. And it was really the Israelites that did it.
Yes.
So Israelites are sand people on Tatooine. I mean, they're Imperial Stormtroopers.
I mean, you know what? That's how they're perceived.
Yeah.
For sure. They're perceived
Sure.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Uncle Owen and Peru.
Right.
Yeah, so kill everything so you don't learn how to do anything bad.
But not the trees. Some trees, yes. Kill the trees that don't grow shit. That you can use for like siege warfare.
Right.
But if like shit is growing on trees, don't kill it because, it's like you can eat shit from trees, you fucking dummies.
Yeah,
don't
so
fucking
they're-
destroy those
so now
trees.
they're listening to this war plan,
Yeah.
and they're like still confused. And he had to say, are trees in the field human beings that they should come under siege from you? And then somebody had to go, you're right. Fruit-bearing trees are not human beings.
Yeah.
We should not lead.
No.
He's right, fellas. He's right. Is he right or not?
Yeah.
Hey! These people are stupid.
It's kind of like this would be like a Family Guy cutaway. You know what I mean? To like this dumb speech.
He's right, Bob. He's right. Bob, listen to him. He knows what he's talking about.
All right. So this gets us to Deuteronomy 21. Laws concerning murder by persons unknown.
Yeah. If in the land that the Lord your God is giving you to possess, a body is found lying in open country, and it is not known who struck the person down, then your elders and your judges shall come out to measure the distances to the towns that are near the body.
Yeah.
All right, it's like CSI had to get a beginning somewhere, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, they're going to get some forensic shit here. No, it just goes stupid after this.
So I read an analysis of this particular section, okay? And the analysis basically is that it's giving the Israelites instructions on like what to do about an unsolved murder in order to sort of absolve blood guilt from like a community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you don't want to have blood on your hands, and like this is like the method that you would use to like absolve yourselves.
Okay.
Like these are the steps you have to take.
Fair enough, but the steps are stupid. the town that's closest has to bring a heifer down to a wadi.
Well, not just the heifer. It's a heifer that's never been worked.
Right, so it's got to be like a nice...
It's like a fresh heifer. It's never had like a yoke on it.
Yeah, so the meat's tender and whatever. Down to the wadi with running water. Do we ever look up wadi?
I don't give a fuck.
All right, we'll have to look that up. So yeah, the wadi with the running water. Then they got to break the heifer's neck. And then the Levites have to be called to like finish the process.
Yeah,
like,
well-
blah, blah, blah. And you know what this is? Just another excuse to fuel the spaceship. Oh, you found a dead body? Bring me another animal. What the fuck does an animal have to do with anything?
It's all very strange.
Yes, it's all very strange.
That gets us to female captives. So Deuteronomy 21, verse 10. When you go out to war against your enemies, and the Lord your God hands them over to you, and you take them captive, suppose you see among the captives a beautiful woman whom you desire and want to marry. I mean, it's a fair question, right? They're going to war. It's like, let's say,
fair question.
you see a woman. And so you bring her home to your house. She shall shave her head, pare her nails, discard her captive's garb, and remain in your house a full month mourning for her father and mother. After that, you may go into her and be her husband, and she shall be your wife.
Okay. You see among the captives a beautiful woman who you wish to marry. Again, we're starting with the misogyny. Like, what if she's not so beautiful, but you find something like, you're attracted to her personality. Like, why does she have to be like classically beautiful to be like even qualified,
Right.
be even mentioned in this book?
Right. Maybe you're blind. Or maybe you've been blinded in battle.
Oh shit, killing her family.
Right.
But if you are not satisfied with her, you shall let her go free.
Why does she have to shave her head?
To get the cuckoo bugs. Like, she's got a little lice and shit.
Wait, where are you if you're not satisfied with her?
Chapter 10, verse 14. 21, verse 14.
Okay.
But if you are not satisfied with her, you shall let her go free, and certainly not sell her for money. You must not treat her as a slave, since you have dishonored her. Well, what part is the dishonoring?
The having sex with.
But you're married to her, so how's that dishonoring her?
You've had sex with her.
All right, she can never claim that she's a virgin.
Nobody. Who would want a woman after she's had sex?
So basically, let's get this straight. Basically, there's a rule here, like, once you massacre this woman's family, you can take her, shave her head, cut her nails off, take her clothes off, have her in your house for a month, and now she's yours. Like, just fucking weird, man.
Well, the rule... No, Scott.
Okay, break this down to me.
I'm going to break it down for you. You basically have it right. The way you explained it isn't right. After your battle, you have the right to bring back a woman. That's your right. If you do so, you have to wait a month before you can, marry her. And in that month, these are the things she must do. That's...
So they figure after a month, she's not going to look at you like the monster you are, that you just massacred her whole family?
Correct. Okay. You have a month to win her over.
All right.
Look, Stockholm Syndrome, right? Worse things have happened. It's a month for her to, realize what else is she going to do.
Oh, I'm doing you a favor. You have no family to go back to. I burned your house down.
Also, I would say that people live with the knowledge that marauders could probably enter their village at any fucking time and do exactly what the Israelites have done. So you live your whole life hearing about or knowing about just pillaging.
This is the second time that you've made excuses for these people, saying, well, this is just the way it was back then.
I didn't realize I was making excuses. I thought
I hear that in current terms when I talk to older people, oh, that's just the way it was back when I was growing up.
Right. Right. Well, I'm just providing historical context.
Oh, well, then maybe we should stop getting mad at the old white folks.
So the next section is the right of the firstborn. And basically the right of the firstborn is look, we know you're going to have a lot of wives. Let's say you've got some nasty battle axe of a bitch, and she gives you your firstborn son. But then you've got this young, fine, new piece of ass that you just conquered, you know what I mean? And she gives you a couple of sons. You still gotta fucking treat the son from the battle axe as the prime son because he was the first one. So,
because what's right is right.
Right.
Right? What's right is right. Those are the rules.
Yeah, I don't understand. What are you saying? I don't know.
If a man has two wives, one of them loved and the other disliked, what if the first wife he had was the loved one and the second one was disliked? Then why would you have a second one if you loved the first one?
Well, remember, one of Abraham's sons, I think Abraham's son, Isaac. Isaac went and his uncle promised him he was going to marry that woman that he really loved, Rebecca or something. But then he set him up in the dark with his other daughter. Right, yeah. Remember? And he wound up having to marry her. And then the guy was well, after 20 years of working for me, I'll give you this other one. He was all right.
Yeah. All right. So there's a lot of weird shit that goes on. And you might get stuck with someone you don't like. Yeah.
So remember, you're going to have in this, historically speaking, men have a lot of wives.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that brings us to rebellious children, man. It's a good thing you didn't live back then. I can see this being you.
I read this to Noah.
You put the fucking...
I was like, come here. This is what the Bible says.
You want some Old Testament fear in that kid? Go ahead, read it out loud. Get read it to your son.
If someone has a stubborn and rebellious son who will not obey his father and mother, who does not heed them when they discipline him, then his father and his mother shall take hold of him and bring him out to the elders of his town at the gate of that place. They shall say to the elders of his town, this son of ours is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey us. He is a glutton and a drunkard. Then all the men of the town shall stone him to death. So you shall purge the evil from your midst. And all Israel will hear and be afraid.
Okay, I got issues with some of this.
All right. You know what you should do, Scott? I want you to read the top line.
Rebellious children.
Okay. Now read verse 21.
Then all the men of the town shall stone him to death.
Okay. So he's a rebellious, stubborn and rebellious, which pretty much describes every teenager ever fucking to have existed.
Okay, this son of ours is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey us. Then what? I think they kind of trumped up the charges. He is a glutton and a drunkard. Like, nobody said anything about that.
Well, no. Listen, don't you understand what's happening? Moses is like, yo, you want to get rid of your fucking annoying kid? Do you regret having kids? Yo, if one of your kids is like stubborn and like rebellious, take him to the gate. Just tell them he's like a drunk, you know? Like, they'll fucking stone him.
I highlighted here in my notes, wait a minute, hold on. I'm a glutton and a drunkard. I don't deserve to get stoned to death. And I'm thinking, how old are these children they're talking about? 8? Like, who's a glutton and a drunkard? So I'm going to bring this fucking Bible verse up to anyone.
You going to remember?
No. Anyone that has anything to say about Roe versus Wade. I'm like, oh, with the Bible? You want a Bible thump? You can have fucking like a retroactive abortion for like a 12-year-old.
Yeah. Just say he's drunk.
He's a drunkard and a glutton. And fucking forget that. You'll all rally around, bury the kid up to his neck, and stone him to death and have a party over it.
Yeah.
Fuck you and your fucking Bible and your fucking... I'm good.
Yeah. I like when you're this passionate, Scott.
No, I don't want to get that.
Sometimes, like, I feel like you live in a different state than I do.
Like geographic state? Or
yeah, like I feel like you're surrounded by like people who are all into religion, and that's not my existence.
No, I'm not. I don't think I'm surrounded with people. I'm surrounded by people that like have really fucking different views than me. And I know a lot of them are also wear a gold cross around their neck,
That's
and they talk about not that they're really religious. They're religious when it's convenient. The perfect example
but that's
is
everyone.
this. Yeah. Fucking bullshit.
All right, so then we'd get like some miscellaneous like nonsense about like, you know, like sanitary shit after.
I did have a question about this, the miscellaneous laws.
Yeah, sure.
When someone is convicted of a crime punishable by death and is executed and you hang him on a tree, his corpse must not remain all night upon the tree. You must bury him that same day, blah, 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 blah.
You don't want like buzzards.
Right, for anyone hung on a tree is under God's curse. So now my question was, did you execute him by hanging him from the tree? Or did you execute him by some other means and then hang him on a tree? They weren't specific that punishable by death and is executed and you hang him on a tree. It's almost like you execute him, then you hang the body up as like a display, like putting somebody on a pike.
Sure.
Or was this you hung him?
Right.
Because it seems like stoning is the preferable way of execution. So I'm just wondering, like, did they go through this extra step to like put him on the tree for people to see?
I think after you stone them, you probably like hang them up for people to see.
Okay.
I think that would be like probably like the thing. So that's why he's saying like don't just leave them there all night, like, you know.
Oh, and I'm sure, and the sunset clause kicks in again under God. Everything's cool until the sun sets.
You think that's where like
sunset clause?
You think like taking the body down before sunset? You think that's where like the flag rule comes from? Like you bring the flag down like when the sun goes down. You don't leave the flag up all night.
Oh,
you know,
maybe.
You bring it down.
Yeah. And the whole term sunset clause is about all this weird. After 7 p.m., everything's
Absolutely.
Good. Yeah.
That gets us to Deuteronomy 22. And Deuteronomy 22 basically starts off telling you to be neighborly. Be a good neighbor, Scott. You know, you see like a donkey on the side of the road that's not yours. It belongs to like a neighbor, and it's got like a fucking nail in its like hoof. Like, pull that shit out. You know what I'm saying?
Take it. Yeah, look out for
You see a
neighbors.
donkey, it's got like a heart on. You know, like jerk that thing off. You know what I'm saying? Like, help out your neighbor.
I don't know. How does that help the neighbor out? I think that helps you out, you freak.
Whatever.
Yeah. All right. Rusty jerks donkey previously, huh? Yeah, which we've heard before. Oh, by the way, getting back to like some of the things we've heard before, this is all like a recap, Deuteronomy. But it seems like some of that stuff we didn't really hear before. Some of it, anyway.
Yeah, like things are being slipped in. Like it's obvious there is no real like script. Everything's being improvised at this point. You know what I mean? Like Yahweh doesn't really fucking give a fuck.
No. Brings us to 22 verse 5. A woman... Oh, sorry.
No, yes.
Oh. A woman shall not wear a man's apparel, nor shall a man put on a woman's garment. For whoever does such things is abhorrent to the Lord your God.
Did you say abhorrent?
Abhorrent.
Abhorrent?
Abhorrent.
So no cross-dressing, Scott.
Right. And now it puts into... It frames this whole drag story time thing that people are protesting against. Like, we don't want our children listening to drag queens telling stories. Mm-hmm. It's right here in the Bible.
It is in the
Bible.
Bible.
Says this. Do they know it's in the Bible?
They probably know it's in the Bible. Yeah. It's everything is in the Bible. Like, it probably says, like, you know, no, we've come across no gay sex, right? We've definitely come across that. It was in, like, Leviticus or some shit.
I thought, like, me and you like, came across. Like,
nah, man.
Like, we were trying to get some gay sex going on. And like,
nah.
Not in my house.
What's that?
That commercial of the basketball player with the gravelly voice.
Oh,
he rejects everything.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Dikembe Mutombo.
Thank you. I would never be able to pronounce that.
Yeah. He talks like Cookie Monster.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. You want to do number 6?
Number 6. I was going to do number 6. No, but I'll do it.
Well,
you have it highlighted? You were going to read 6? I skipped over that one.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's funny.
Yeah, it's hysterical.
All right, go ahead.
If you come on a bird's nest, ooh, you birds are so pretty. Ooh, those are some nice eggs. Ooh. If you come on a bird's nest, get it?
Like, believe me. I was going to do all that.
Yeah, whatever, man.
You know what I'm
but you're
saying?
more mature than that. I get it.
No, it's not that I'm more
you're
mature than
more
that.
mature.
So I didn't want to be predictable.
Well, that's my job. I'm all about predictability.
No, because it's unpredictable that you're the one that came up with that. Like, typically, I would have been the one to have, like, done that. You
the
know?
lowbrow shit.
So I'm glad that you did it.
I'll hit the lowbrow once in a
Do it
while.
again. Start from the beginning. I don't think people appreciate it.
If
So
you-
this is Deuteronomy 21,
If you
verse 6.
Come on a bird's nest.
If you come on a bird's nest,
in any tree or on the ground.
if you're coming on any bird's nest, in a tree or on the ground,
So we're not going to climb up
Go
a
ahead.
tree to come on a bird's nest? Whatever. With fledglings or eggs. With the
so
mother-
if you come on a bird's nest, whether it's in a tree or on the ground, with fledglings, those are little baby birds, or eggs,
with the mother sitting on the fledglings or on the eggs, you shall not take the mother with the young. Let the mother go, taking only the young for yourself, in order that it may go well with you and you may live long. See, there's a lot to unpack here.
Okay.
Forget about the goofy adolescent coming on the bird's nest.
All right.
So you come upon the nest, you see the mother in the nest. Why on earth would you take the young or the eggs? Why would you take those things?
Well, the eggs to eat, that's understandable.
Dude, I was thinking, all right, maybe the chickens? Like, who eats, like, regular, like, sparrow eggs? Did they eat that shit back then?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, all right, maybe I didn't know then. What are you taking the fledglings for? To let them grow older, to kill them and eat them? Like chicken wings? Like,
Well, that's the thing. Like fledglings, like eating chicks, like...
but if you let the mother go, it'll go well with you, and you shall live long.
Or maybe you raise the chicks and then you kill them, you know?
Did I ever tell you I killed a pigeon once?
No.
Oh, man,
On
I feel
purpose?
No. What happened was I worked in a construction outfit.
I thought we
where
had to deal with the pigeons.
we had to deal with them.
It's
Yeah,
a
well, we
Seinfeld
did, and I
episode.
kind of
It's a
I
Seinfeld
violated.
episode.
Oh, well, I did violate like whatever deal we had.
You never saw the Seinfeld episode where he runs over the squirrel? And
don't
he's like,
know.
I thought we had to deal with them. And Jerry's like, that's with pigeons. We have no deal with squirrels.
I don't know. We ought to look.
He was like trying to impress a woman.
Right.
And like he swerved his car and he runs over a squirrel, so he had to like take it to a vet, like bring it back to health.
No, I didn't see that.
Kramer found like the set for like a talk show in the dumpster and then set up his whole apartment like it was a set of a talk show. And then he set up like chairs, and every time someone would come over, he'd have them like sit down and like do an interview with them like it was a talk show. You never saw that episode?
I don't think so.
It's fucking hilarious.
Well, getting back to real life.
Go ahead.
So I worked in this construction environment. We had a big garage, and trucks were parked indoors, and we had a pigeon problem with like living up in the girders and the rafters, up in the floor, ceiling trusses. So they came, they put like this chicken wire to prevent them from getting in there. Of course, they found a way in, right? So one day there was like 8 of them just chirping up a storm. Like it was driving me fucking crazy. So I proceeded to go to my car, get my paintball gun, because I used to paintball back in the day. And I figured I'm going to throw some warning shots at them to get them the fuck out of the garage, right?
So you did kill it on purpose.
I did not. I was not looking to hit any of them.
If it was a person and you were just like, I just went to get my gun to like fire some warning shots, and you shot that person, that's you would have gone to like prison. It's not like first degree murder,
okay,
but
fair enough. Listen, all right, I'm confessing.
You recklessly murdered a pigeon.
So I fired some shots.
What's some?
I don't know, full auto, 300. No, like I don't know, 5 or 6. I don't know. I don't know. And apparently I hit one right in the chest.
Yeah.
And now you picture the garage, probably 30-foot high ceiling, right? Now this bird, he falls off the girder, flaps his wings a couple of times. I'm like, oh, I just wounded him, and then face first into the concrete, twitched and died. Dude, I felt like shit. The story gets worse. So now
it's not even a pigeon; it's a dove.
It's a rock dove.
Yeah,
it's a fucking flying rat in New York City.
It's a rock dove.
So now the rest of the pigeons promptly escape. So now it's quiet. Then all of a sudden I start hearing cheep, cheep, cheep. I'm like, what the fuck is that? There's fucking baby pigeons up in the fucking ceiling. And I probably just killed its mother. I've never even seen a baby pigeon. Has anyone ever seen a baby pigeon?
I have.
Oh, well. I didn't see it.
Really fucking doofy looking, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
So now, over the next couple of days, I'm like, oh, they're going to die. Because like the chicken wire there, however they got in, they're dumb birds. They probably didn't know how to get back in. Yo, this flock of pigeons would fly in with like French fries in their mouth or whatever, and they flap their wings and stick it through the fucking chicken wire and feed the fucking fledglings. Like as a community, like this was a social community fucking event brought on by me fucking killing the mother. Yeah, so you know what? I'm not going to live long, man. It's not going to go well for me, man. So
you're saying you strengthened their community through the elimination of this one bird. And it brought them together.
It's the one that stuck around and let itself get hit for the fucking family. The rest scattered. That's why I know this must have been the mother. Because it stuck around and was like, I can defend its fucking young.
So you're saying...
I've been holding this for almost 30 years,
So
man.
you're saying that Deuteronomy 22, verse 6...
No wonder I took so
much. Really brought you back to this time and place.
I had forgotten all about it.
If you come on a bird's nest in any tree or on the ground...
Or up in the ceiling in a garage.
With fledglings or eggs, with the mother sitting on the fledglings or on the eggs, you shall not take the mother with the young.
Right.
Or shoot it with a fucking paintball.
Yeah, damn, not cool, man.
Let the mother go, taking only the young. See, here's the thing. The mother is able to reproduce, right? So you take the young... And Yahweh's like, yeah, the fucking mom, she can go whoring around because she's like a pigeon, you know? I've told the animals, be fruitful and multiply.
I don't feel good about myself again about this, man.
Deuteronomy 21.
I didn't do it on purpose, man. Seriously, I just wanted to scare them. It was a fucking accident.
Yeah. No, I believe you.
And I've been in my own personal mental anguish apparently 30 years over it. I feel lighter that I told
believe
this
you.
story.
It's fucked up, but it's nice that you admit it. Also, I mean, honestly...
Nah, man.
Look, man, I'm going to lean in. I'm going to say this.
I don't think I want this.
We are now in our 50th year of life, okay?
Okay.
We come from an era were a lot of white, cis, hetero men, our age, Gen Xers. They stopped evolving 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
So the fact that we're able to continue to evolve and continue to want to evolve, you know, we've made it like our life like goal to become better. Because let's face it, where we started, I mean, we did not start in good situations. You know what I mean? Like there were like obstacles.
Yeah, of course.
You know, like they say, like, you know, white privilege, and sure, there's like some level of that. For me, I mean, I'm like an immigrant. I came here when I was like 4, you know. So my family hardly had like roots in this country. You had like a whole other fucking fucked up situation. So the point being, whenever you did this, you were still like on the cusp of being like the moron that like you were growing up. And now like you've evolved beyond that and you look upon that like with rightful shame. But that's only a sign that you've grown. There's like a whole bunch of people out there that would be telling that story over beers and everybody would be laughing about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I fucking shot that pigeon. And what's even funnier is it had like chicks up there. Fucking stupid chicks. You ever see a baby fucking pigeon? Those fucking idiots.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what I mean? So
I guess.
you should be proud of yourself.
Thanks, man. I guess.
When you build a new house,
Nice.
you shall make a parapet for your roof. Otherwise, you might have blood guilt on your house if anyone should fall from it. So it's almost like anticipating insurance policies, you know? Like you don't want anyone falling off your shit because you're going to have like some blood fucking guilt.
You know, when I started reading this, I was like, what is this nonsense about? And then I was like, oh, no, this is the first like common sense building code. This makes sense, you know? The Department of Buildings exists because of shit like this. But you just put it in a new light because it did mention blood guilt. They don't care that somebody fell off your roof. You just don't want to be responsible for that shit.
Yeah, well, no, it's...
Insurance. You mentioned insurance, man.
That's true, man.
Yeah. You don't give a fuck. What the fuck was that guy doing on your roof anyway?
I mean, you're right.
Did he have a fiddle?
It's weird that that's how I thought about it, right?
But you're not wrong. The blood guilt.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want blood guilt.
Right.
It's not that you don't care about that. You don't want the guy beat
you. Don't want to feel like the guilt, right?
All right.
All right. No mixed blend wines, right?
So now, is this just nonsense, or is this a make sense agricultural rule? Like, if you grew 2 different grapes next to each other, would they fight each other? Would they interact poorly? Like, I don't know.
Gotta say, if you're asking me to think logically, it's probably something about cross-pollination and that
So this might actually be common sense. This might be a common sense rule.
Possibly.
All right, so we're gonna let this one go.
It could be like, you know, Yahweh needs a specific fucking, like,
right.
You know,
all right.
He needs a specific
You
grape.
shall not plow with an ox and a donkey yoked together. Again, that makes sense.
Why?
Because if you got a yoke and a donkey and an ox next to each other, one of them is bigger than the other, so they're just going to turn in one direction the whole time.
Okay.
You want equally sized animals, equally strength animals.
Okay, so that's completely obvious. Why would anyone need to be told this? Like, what farmer that has an ox and a donkey,
I think that's a good idea.
like, would do that? Like, if you have an ox and a donkey, like, you know, you've been around for, like, a little while. You know what I mean? Like, you don't just show up on the first day with an ox and a donkey.
Now, I'm assuming a yoke, that's always like a side-by-side thing. That's the yoke.
Yeah.
What if you would have had them
Well, no, the yoke, I think, is the thing that goes around
on their neck.
Yes.
But if they yoke together, they're sharing the same yoke. So they're side-by-side.
Well, it's like a double yoke, right?
What if you would have put them like vertically, like one in front of the other? That would probably be acceptable.
Or what if you needed them to fucking like walk around in a circle?
Oh.
That would make sense.
Especially if you're doing that in the middle of the night so people wake up and like, what the fuck are these crop circles? Because nobody would think of what a donkey and a
Well, back when Yahweh was around, I bet your crop circles were not such a rarity.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What else we got, man?
Well, I go down all the way to laws concerning sexual
All right,
relations.
I'll just cover the other two real quick.
So
You shall
do
not
it.
wear clothes made of wool and linen woven together. We've heard that before. We don't know why that's a thing.
That's like
gotta
bondage shit. Yeah,
that's
who
got to be
knows?
skin irritation on Yahweh. You shall make tassels on the four corners of the cloak with which you cover yourself. The ultra-Orthodox still do that, right?
Titzilas, yeah. Titzes.
So it's there's tassels on four corners? I always
Yeah.
remember seeing two strings. Whatever.
You're
Is
very
it-
observant. You were really observing them, huh? Hawking them.
yes. With binoculars from my trunk.
So that gets us to laws concerning sexual relations.
Yeah.
I highlighted like
Most of it.
yeah, pretty much. All
This
right.
is some bad shit here.
You want to read it?
You know what? We might as well. So I'm going to say, what are we? 22, verse 13.
Yep.
Suppose a man marries a woman, but after going into her, dislikes her and makes up charges against her, slandering her by saying, I married this woman, but when I laid with her, I did not find evidence of her virginity. The father of the young woman and her mother shall then submit the evidence of the young woman's virginity to the elders of the city at the gate. The father of the young woman shall say to the elders, I gave my daughter in marriage to this man, but he dislikes her. And now he has made up charges against her, saying, I did not find evidence of your daughter's virginity. But here is the evidence of my daughter's virginity. Then they shall spread out the cloth before the elders of the town. The elders of that town shall take the man and punish him. They shall fine him 100 shekels of silver, which they shall give to the young woman's father, not even to her. Well, no, okay. Because he has slandered a virgin of Israel. She shall remain his wife. He shall not be permitted to divorce her as long as he lives.
All right.
You want to start unpacking it?
Yeah, let's unpack.
Yeah.
All right. So a guy bangs a broad, right? He marries her. He bangs her. For whatever reason, right? I don't want to speculate. Okay. I could speculate. I could say maybe she's inexperienced. Maybe she is a virgin.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you something. Having sex with a virgin is probably not all it's cracked up to be because
I would think not.
because she's a virgin,
Yeah.
right? Like it's not that fun. Especially
it's a
if you're a virgin and you're having sex with a virgin, yes, because you're doing it together, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Not when you're experienced and she's a virgin and you're looking for like that good poon, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You ain't going to get it from a virgin unless like you're sick, you know, and like that's the thing that like that's your
what gets
king.
you off, yeah.
I shouldn't even say sick, but like if that's the thing that gets you off, yeah.
It's all right, not sick, it's a little fucking
All
weird.
right. So even though I said I wasn't going to speculate, I speculate. I don't know that's the reason, but he marries her. He goes into her. He doesn't like her. He accuses her of not being a virgin in order to get out of this marriage. Okay, at that point, her family needs to produce evidence. What kind of evidence? The sheet. So the sheet means like there should be blood on the
Yes.
sheet. Okay.
Yes.
That is the dumbest fucking thing in the world because not every virgin bleeds, nor does every virgin have a hymen. Hymens are like broken. I don't know if that's the term. Is it broken
Yeah,
hymen?
they break all the time.
Yeah, right. For like a multitude of reasons.
You ever ride a horse? Come on, you're breaking that shit.
I mean, so
Stubborn donkey.
this is fucking ridiculous.
And I'm just saying, how hard it would be for the man to hide a sheet? Get rid of the evidence. What are the father and mother went right outside the fucking door?
Right. Like, why do the mother and father have to be there? How do they get their hands on the sheet? What is this, like Linda Tripp and like fucking Monica Lewinsky?
And you know, and here's this. I'm not telling any man how to get away with this crime, but okay, bang her. Get rid of the bloody sheet. Bang her again a month later. And go, oh, where's the blood? Look, call the parents in. Look. First time I'm hitting your daughter. Look, there's nothing here. It's fucking weird. And why she shall remain his wife, he shall not be permitted to divorce her as long as she lives, as long as he lives. Like that's the punishment on the man. This woman is stuck now with this man who doesn't want her and made up shit about. Like he's being punished.
Right.
She's
like,
being punished.
Does she have any choice in this? No, she's got no choice.
Yeah, I mean that guy should fucking sleep with one eye open. That's all I'm saying.
If, however, right? So he's accusing her of not being a virgin. If, however, this charge is true, that evidence of the young woman's virginity was not found. By the way, how can you find something that does or does? This is like one of those things you can't prove. You can't
prove a negative, right?
Right. Unless you actually have like footage of penetration on that woman.
And to your point before, that still doesn't mean there's going to be a fucking bloody mess.
Is there evidence of penetration on this woman? Is what I want to know.
I just think you want to say penetration.
Well, I want to see this evidence. If, however, this charge is true, that evidence of the young woman's virginity was not found, then they shall bring the young woman out to the entrance of her father's house, and the men of her town shall stone her to death. Because she committed a disgraceful act in Israel by prostituting herself in her father's house. So you shall purge the evil from your midst.
So first of all, how do they know she did in her father's house? They mean because she was still living on her
That's
father's
your first
roof
of all? Out of all those things, that's your first of all.
And why is it prostitution? I don't know. Maybe we have a different definition of it.
So first of all, what struck me was the incongruent punishment, right? So there's a disparity between the man's punishment
Huge.
and the woman's punishment.
But the crime's also different.
His crime is falsely accusing her of not being a virgin. A knowing like lie. Her crime is being accused of something and simply not being able to prove.
No, I think we got to operate under the premise that she is lying. She claimed to be a virgin and she's not. Let's go.
But how would anyone know this?
Let's assume we can know this. Is his crime lying about her?
Why
not
wouldn't
being
any smart woman have like blood already on her and just like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
Like chicken's blood or some shit. There's always fucking nonsense sacrifices going on.
Yeah, just go next to the altar, scoop some of that shit up. There's fucking blood everywhere. So let's proceed for a second that she is lying.
Okay.
So he lied about her virginity. He has to pay 100 shekels of silver. She lied about her virginity. She gets put to death. But wouldn't her crime actually be worse? Because a man is expected to marry a virgin, and she's lying about that. Let's not talk about the punishment. Is the crime worse?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's like the Brittany Griner. It's the Brittany Griner situation. If you're going by the letter of the law, right?
So his crime's worth 100 shekels, and I'm not saying she should be put to death. But hey, listen, I'm not the sentencer. I'm just the judge.
If a man is discovered lying with the wife of another man, both of them shall die. The man who lay with the woman as well as the woman. So you shall purge the evil from Israel.
Now, my note here is this is probably the most reasoned out of everything, even though the punishment is still ridiculous, of course.
Yeah.
But like they're both
at least they're both right.
Committing the same crime.
Yes, they're both like committing.
Actually, wait a minute. Wait. Are they? If a man is discovered lying with the wife of another man, so it's like I'm hitting your wife, but I'm not married myself.
You're breaking a commandment.
You're right. It's a commandment. You're right. Okay.
Coveting like your neighbor's wife or some shit.
Okay. I was thinking if the man was married cheating on his wife and the woman's married cheating on her husband, then it's an equal crime.
Look.
Right? You see what I'm saying?
I do see what you're saying.
So I don't think it's an equal crime, even though the commandments
I
say
think
so.
It's a crime to have sex with anyone other than your spouse. That's what it seems like.
Okay.
So sex outside of marriage seems to be frowned upon.
So this is the most reasoned out of them all.
If there is a young woman, a virgin already engaged to be married, and a man meets her in the town and lies with her, you shall bring both of them to the gate of that town and stone them to death. The young woman, because she did not cry for help in the town, and the man, because he violated his neighbor's wife.
Now, this is both the previous law and this one are exactly the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're basically saying, I'm going to meet you at the bar, We're going to have sex. You're married. Right, she's engaged. Apparently engaged and married means the same under the eyes of the law. So these two are exactly the same. So yeah, they should both die. This is reasoned out.
So it's
This is reasoned out.
okay.
But here's the problem.
You should be a Levite.
She did not cry for help. And I'm thinking, all right, so now you're proposing that, like, so obviously she did it willingly. She wasn't raped. But I'm thinking, okay, so if I sneak up behind you and put my hands over your mouth and rape you, you're going to be sentenced to death because nobody heard you cry for help?
Well, that's where the next section comes in, right?
Yes.
So in the next section, it specifically says, in case of a rape, only the man gets punished, right?
But if the man meets the engaged woman in the open country, as opposed to the town, and the man seizes her and lies with her, then only the man who lay with her shall die. You shall do nothing to the young woman. The young woman has not committed an offense punishable by death, because this case is like that of someone who attacks and murders a neighbor. Since he found her in the open country, the engaged woman may have cried for help, but there was no one there to hear it. So basically, you want to pray for a countryside rape. You don't want to get raped in town, because if he covers your mouth, you're getting killed
But
too.
it didn't make it seem like she was getting raped in town. It's like these are false equivalencies because they're setting up like different standards.
Yeah.
The one in town just seems like it's a lover's tryst. Like she's like engaged, but she doesn't want to be engaged to whoever her family set her up with. She's got like a young lover. You know what I mean?
But her argument could be, I did scream for help, but I was gagged, I was bound, or I got roofied.
You know what this sounds like? This
Roofied.
sounds like these are dumb laws written by like 70-year-old like rabbis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
If a man meets a virgin who is not engaged and seizes her, that means kidnapping, and lies with her, and they are discovered, the man who lay with her shall give 50 shekels of silver to the young woman's father, and she shall become his wife. Because he violated her, he shall not be permitted to divorce her as long as he lives.
So if you see like some hot like woman, you could just like pick her up and rape her.
Only she's a virgin.
Only
Because the
if
other
she's a
rules
virgin.
stipulate
Right.
that you're raping her.
This is crazy to me.
So basically, yeah, it's like, she's hot. I'm going to rape her. I'm going to give her, and she can't even divorce me.
Yeah.
She's being punished for the crime I'm committing. And I wrote, sounds like 2022 Roe versus Wade laws. Basically, they're saying now, even in the instance of rape, you can't get an abortion. So guess what? If I rape a woman and get her pregnant, she's involved with me for the next 18 years. Because good luck proving I raped you. That's what this is a throwback to like 6,000 fucking years ago.
Well, now you can't rape anybody, Scott, because you've just on fucking, you just recorded yourself like explaining your whole plan.
This is inadmissible in court. I called it. I called it.
All right. I'm just saying, man.
But
Don't
if I
ever
do-
be accused of rape.
If I do it in the countryside, nobody heard her scream. She's got to marry me. This is fucking ridiculous. You want to read the last one, man? This is stupid, this one.
Don't marry your dad's fucking wife.
You know what I wrote as a note? Yeah, that's just being a good son. Don't do that.
I mean, that already happened, though, to Jacob, one of Jacob's kids. His eldest kid, remember? Like, lay with, like, one of his... And then, like, went on his deathbed when he was giving out inheritances or whatever... Remember, he was like, Israel gets this and fucking this guy. The 12 sons that fucking...
Right. No, I got you.
There was like that one good one who didn't want to kill Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat. He's the one that talked his brothers out of killing him.
I think I heard someone talking about, like, there's an entire, like, genre on, like, Pornhub about fucking the stepmother.
Oh, not... You mean like actual, like, stepmoms. I was thinking of, like, the biblical, like, fucking Isaac's, like... I gotcha. Yeah, like stepmom porn is like the number one like fucking porn now.
So a man...
It's like it used to be like MILF shit, but like now it's become like more specific.
Well, it's got to get nastier and raunchier because
Yes.
like we don't get a rise out of normal like regular
Right.
sex anymore.
Right.
So a man shall not marry his father's wife. What if the father's wife is also that your mother?
Well, definitely do not marry
Are
that.
you sure?
Yeah.
Doesn't say that.
Well, look, again, like men are taking on like multiple wives, you know.
I like there's a footnote here for a man shall not marry his father's wife, thereby violating his father's right. The footnote is uncovering his father's skirt. Dames and skirts everywhere.
Well, first of all, that seems like a trick footnote because why would the father be wearing a skirt when cross-dressing is explicitly forbidden?
No, skirt's a slang word for the woman. That's my skirt over there. That's my father's skirt. Yo, I hate
Hey, my
father's skirt.
dame.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Dames and
Man, my
skirts.
chickadee.
Yeah, this is pretty good, man. This is some good Deuteronomy right here.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, we got back into it. Yeah, anytime there's like, you know, guns and sex and like, it's good.
Yeah, I don't see what guns were ever mentioned, but yeah, right.
War.
Oh,
They were talking about war, you know,
Yeah,
guns.
you're right.
It's all the same.
I want everybody to take away from this. Does that fruit-bearing tree look anything like a human? You should obviously not attack that tree. Fucking idiots.
I don't know what they're drinking. All right, so I mean, I'm ready to like wrap it up and
Yeah,
call
let's
it a
wrap
night.
it up.
We
Yeah, let's
we
wrap
we,
it up.
we did our duty for the day.
Deuteronomy we did.
Yeah, we did. All right, everybody.
Peace.
Have a good whatever the fuck.